Today is going to be all about creating a makeup look that explores similar mythic and artistic themes that I did in my dark Pre-Raphaelite video. A lot of you liked that. It's now one of my top performing videos, and I just love taking inspiration from art, and this imagery in particular definitely speaks to me. But today it's going to be using a lot of warm tones. So one of you recommended I check out the work of Evelyn de Morgan. So she is considered a late Pre-Raphaelite artist, and a lot of her work explores similar themes and women in like mythic positions. Just so you know, super cool tidbit, Evelyn was a pacifist, a suffragist, and a spiritualist, so a lot of those themes work their way into her art. It's also great to be taking inspiration from a woman's work, but as you can see, her paintings in general just have a much warmer feeling. There's like these rich reds and umbers and browns, and the yellows just like look golden, and corals and oranges. So just this general feeling that's more like being in like an orchard or a meadow at sunset rather than the original Pre-Raphaelite paintings. They feel much more sort of stark and gloomy at times. Women positioned against like cliffs or stormy seas, whereas a lot of her work just feels so much warmer, but it's still like evocative in a similar way. So her painting, The Love Potion, is in particular a favorite of mine, especially because of that yellow golden dress, and I just love the colors in it. This woman looks a little bit witchy. She's brewing up a love potion. You can see a couple in the window through the background, and then she's like inside brewing up her potion. Just so much going on here. It's really cool. And yeah, this is going to be sort of my main color palette I'm working with. And even her lips have like that orangey, rich orangey tone going on in them. Other works from her that have similar color palettes and really come up as some of her most popular work include Flora. So again, that feeling of like being in an orchard or something, and just this warm, really spring-like tones. Like autumny for sure, but also very spring tones, spring palette. Helen of Troy, I also love this one, and just the hair, the loose hair, all very Pre-Raphaelite-like. So another popular work of hers is Demeter, Mourning for Persephone, and I showed this work in my Persephone makeup video, and you have these warm tones again, like that gold being kind of a motif, that gold dress, but a little bit more muted. Fun little fact about her, her sister wrote a biography about her and her husband, and when Evelyn was young, her mother wanted to present her to the queen, and she said something like, "I'll go to the drawing room if you like, but if I go, I'll kick the queen." So very much a free spirit for her time, and I think she seems really interesting. So anyway, let's get into the makeup. I'm going to start with the blush and lips and really show you an exploration that you could definitely do if you want to keep it a bit more like the paintings. And then I'm going to do an eye look to really get that sense of gold happening. So I'm going to start with two blush shades, the first of which is going to be Foxglove from Rose Inc. This is my favorite type of orangey coral, but it's just like a touch kind of muted in a way, not like a bright coral. Coral might not even be the right word for this. Orangey pink. As this is the first blush and it's a bit lighter, I'm gonna use a bigger brush and bring this all over the cheek. And I'm not gonna shy away from blush with this look. Of course, with these like painting-esque explorations, just leaning into blush is like really the first step of evoking this more old-fashioned kind of feeling in your makeup. Then I'm going to take from Phytosurgeon's Exothermic, which is much more of a darker shade, and use this to bring a little bit of dimension into the look rather than a contour. So I'm going to place that a bit lower on both sides, and using a slightly smaller brush for this placement. Here's the comparison. Here was the first brush, here's the second. So I like this one for a little bit of extra precision, but it's still fluffy enough to be quite blendable. So I want to get like sort of right under the fullness of my cheek. That's where I'm going to like use this blush to just create more sense of depth in the face. And of course, it kind of looks like a streak right now, but I'll blend. And then I almost always take my foundation brush and just like get those edges a little bit softer. Now I'm going to take a powdered bronzer. This is so old. It's from Becca. The shade is Capri Coast. It's got a little bit of soft glow in it. I don't think I'll use a highlighter today, so this will be nice to just bring, you know, a little bit of glowy feeling to the face. And I'm just going to kind of connect it to where the blush was sort of ending. Maybe even pat it a little bit on top just to really blend it all in there. And I just feel like leaning into bronzer over a lot of the face is gonna suit this. If anybody watched my last kind of Q&A video and I talked about getting into makeup and how bronzer was like my first foray into modern makeup, this was the bronzer. I'm bringing it down the neck as well. Just think about generally warming up the whole perimeter of the face. For lips, I'm going to go for a shade that's like perfectly between orange and red, and that is Melt Mum. Just think it really is a color you see a lot in Evelyn's work. And I'm going to ground this with a darker lip liner. So this is Limitless Brown from Makeup Forever. And I just find having a darker lip line with this shade helps the shade pop more, actually. And actually this brown looks like a lot of the browns in her paintings. Let's go in with the lipstick. Just really getting a lot of the color payoff. So layering it. And then blending the liner just a little bit. So it feels like more of a soft focus kind of effect, rather than like a crisp lip line. As usual, a touch of powder that really kind of bakes everything into the skin. I find like when I'm doing these painterly type of makeup looks, putting powder on top of everything like gives the skin a bit more of that matte feeling that looks more like a painting, you know, rather than like dewy. And it kind of just like makes the blush feel more like it's, how do I describe this? Part of the whole thing rather than potentially standing out. Maybe that's a way to describe it. Just a light dusting, nothing too much. This is a great, massive, big brush for this type of powdering. And here's the foundation of this look. I love this lip combo so much, but essentially like doing the same techniques as the Pre-Raphaelite with a lot of blush, bringing dimension in with different tones, and a pretty saturated lip, but this is just so much warmer. This is like the perfect in between an orange and a brown. I think this is such a great color combo. I love this. I love this as it is, but today, taking that artistic detour, as I call it, when you just really less than recreate, but start to like summon more of the energies of the painting. So I'm going to go in with the Cosmic Brushes Neutrals palette, and I am thinking of these golds here, this like orangey yellow, and this gold just looks like those dresses to me. But I'm going to start a little bit more neutral with more of like a camel tone and go in with this shade here. And I'm going to place this all over the lid, really. So it's a great kind of base shade to start to move into those like yellowish tones, but still keeping it a little bit more subdued. Bringing it a little bit further into the inner corner. And then using the side of the brush to get the blend. That is such a pretty neutral shade. For anybody who likes just like a one and done type of shadow and a warm tone, very pretty. I'm going to take a bit of this pinky peach here called Rumor with a fluffier brush. And this is gonna be a transition shade from the crease to the temple, just like bringing the shadow out just a touch further, because there's like a bit more pink in the blush tones. I find more kind of painterly style makeup looks work when you tie in tones from every part of the look together. It doesn't mean it has to be monochrome at all, but like it's like if you were a painter, you would like add a little bit of pink at the cheek, but then you'd add a little bit of pink at the eye. So those are kind of like little details that just feel like it creates a really harmonious feeling look. And I'll bring this pink just a touch under the eye. Now I'm gonna bring a bit of this yellow into the look, and I think I'll occasionally delve into this down here, neutral, to like soften it a bit so it's not looking just like pure yellow. I don't want it to feel like a super yellow eyeshadow look. It's more like a burnt gold. Put that more in the outer part of the eye. So it's like an opportunity to add depth, but also that golden tone. And then using that darkening shade just really helps, yeah, bring that darker feel to it, of course. Now taking this shimmer called Glitz. Such a nice gold. So yellowy. Wow. I don't want to go too overboard with it, but I definitely want it to be there. I'm going to start a little bit farther out, like on this last third of the eye. Focus it there, and then with my finger that doesn't have the shimmer on it, that'll be like the blending finger. Like this type of shimmer really feels like almost like a foil. Like it's pure kind of metallic. It's really amazing. It's quite different than like the sparkly kind of particle type of glitter. This is the type of shimmers Melt needs to start creating. These colors are so pretty together. I feel like I really got the colors of the painting. Now I'm gonna pop off camera for lashes. This definitely needs lashes. If you wanted to go for that more minimal lashless look, I think it would have been better to stop before the eyes. But yeah, with this type of eyeshadow, I need that framing. So I will be one moment. And here is the finished makeup look. I really love how it turned out. I think these colors just go together all so well. And I feel like this yellowy gold just like perfectly got the color of those dresses that Evelyn de Morgan has. And it would be great to do this type of makeup look if you had a dress like that. Then you could potentially omit the eyes and just do the warm lips and cheeks. But yeah, I just find these kinds of makeup studies are really fun because you can really just like delve into like a color story that's really drawing you in, and you can also romanticize the look a little bit and yeah, just kind of like summon the same energy that the painting is giving. If you have any other requests of art I should take inspiration from, drop them down below. I definitely have a list ongoing, so I'm excited to keep doing this as a kind of series that I return to. So that's it for today. Toasty! Let's take it away. Thanks so much for watching until the end. Thanks for all your ideas. It really helps when you guys kind of give me some references in the comments down below. I'll definitely explore them if it makes sense for me and if it seems like there's a lot of people kind of wanting some kind of theme. I've got a lot on my list. I'm so excited for the next few months to keep exploring themes like this. So yeah, stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't already and you like this kind of content. And until next time, may you all find yourselves a little bit of makeup magic, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, witches.